Well, hello and welcome to this edition to the Red Raider Coaches Show. My name is Brent Johnson. I'm along with a couple of not new coaches. Well, one's new, and bringing Thad back, our defensive coordinator, Coach Williams, along with a new coach, offensive line coach. I had to make myself think not to say it. I'm not going to say it. Braden Griffis. That's an inside joke. We won't talk about. We discussed right before the show, but. Want to welcome these guys. Don't be nervous. It's okay. We'll be just fine. No, we're excited to have new young coaches on the staff, and this is a young guy. I'm guessing 23 years old. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How'd you get here? Right?
Yeah, well, I'm real excited to be here. I've loved every second of being around this coaching staff and these players, getting to know everybody here at the school. But I'm Braden Griffis. I'm from Appleton County. Played football there all 4 years of high school. I was fortunate enough to play for the legendary Rick Tomberlin. While there, I was a two-time All-Region captain for Coach Rick Tomberlin. Enjoyed every minute of it. And then after there, I did not go and play college ball, but I went and furthered my education at Georgia Southern. Studied secondary education with some biology. This is my first year teaching, and in general, first job, but I've loved every second of it, and look forward to many years here. So.
Well, that's awesome. We had a sort of 2 years ago when the new staff came in. Of course, everybody kind of knew Thad. He had been gone for a little while, but he come back. But we enjoy bringing these guys on, letting you folks at home. You see them on the sidelines, running back too and coaching up these kids and. So it's good to have an opportunity. And I'm gonna have the rest of it. There's 2 or 3 new ones this year. We'll have them on some consecutive shows. Now, what I did do, I didn't think about till really yesterday, is I brought the defensive coordinator, and he's offensive line. And we do have a defensive line coach that's new. I'm gonna have to bring him back, and Thad's gonna have to come back with him next week. So that was a little oddball, but again, Thad, what's new with you since last season?
My family got a little bigger.
Yeah.
Me and my wife just had Creed Isaiah Williams. He's a new addition to the family. I know my older boys kind of, a little jealous right now because they ain't getting no attention
That's
right
right.
now. But,
That's right.
Jeremiah and Aiden, they welcomed Creed into our home, and it's just been a good time. Late nights, but I'm here, and we enjoying that little joker. He keep us on our toes, and we just enjoying it right now.
Well, that's awesome. I know what it's like to have 3 kids. Now yours is a little more spread out than mine were, but we all know how that goes, and I know you're a good guy, and you taking care of your family, and family's number one. And I promise you that's how these guys are treating those boys on and off the field as well. So that are not theirs, blood related, but they're taking care of them as a family. So we do appreciate that. Well, let's talk a little bit before we dive into the defensive side of the Red Raiders this season. I do have you here. You're the offensive line guy.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about those guys that's working the trenches up front for you.
They're doing a great job. I've come in and I've always said I wanted to coach. I always coached. And I was coached hard and tough, and so we go to work every day. I tell them all the time that we can't be effective as an offense, and we can't be effective as a team in general if the 5 up front are not doing their job. So we go out there every day, and I instill in them carry this team, put us on your back, and we'll put points on the board. So they come out every day with a great mindset, and they're prepared to work, and they know my expectations, and so. We're just going to work. That's all you got to do as an offensive lineman, is do the dirty work.
And that's that's one of our younger units on the field. We, from some sophomores, juniors, and maybe a freshman or two that's getting some time there. So that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
And everybody that's watched ball, I've admitted, for the past 16, 17 years, I've been involved with the football program in some sort of way. I never took a snap. I went out to spring training 1 year. Football wasn't for me. I played baseball, some basketball, and some other things. But if you've been around it enough to know that's where the games are won, in those trenches. Like I said, the offense and defensive line plays a huge part, and it's good to know that, like I said, you're young doesn't necessarily mean inexperienced. You can tell by the way this young man's carrying himself and the things that he says that he's prepared to get after it with these guys. And again, we're just glad to have you.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, defense is where it starts and ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
We fielded some pretty good defenses these last few years, and I don't think it's any different this year. Just a few different faces, that support and cast. What I have seen, and then you can elaborate. I've seen some guys on our defense that they like to play defense. That they like contact. That's what defense is to me. That's when you attack and you get after it. And that's what I've seen so far.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to establish on that side of the ball. We got some young guys that I'm very proud of. They done grew up. They had to step in and take some roles that they weren't used to, but they did it. Stepped up to the challenge, and I was real pleased that first game. with the young guys.
The scrimmage.
Yeah. Very pleased with them, and I told my defensive coaching staff, man, I was telling them throughout the game, man, I'm proud of y'all. I'm proud of how y'all got those guys ready, and they're young, and I think we just got a nose for the ball. I think we understand the defense more now, and now we're just more physical than a lot of teams, and we just go to work every day. We go out there and we go through tackling drills every 15 minutes before Indy, and we just get after it. Coach Wilson kind of stays on us. He stays on us. His expectations are very high, and he gonna let you know now. He gonna let you know, and that's what I love about Coach Wilson. He always gonna keep us there at that standard, and that's what we've built on that side of the ball. We got a standard. We always shooting for the shutout.
That's right.
But I kind of expect with some young guys we're gonna make some mistakes.
Sure.
But we play hard. The past 2 games we done got pick sixes and should have had one against Clinch too.
Yeah.
But we're working. And I'm very proud of those guys.
And you mentioned the Appling game, which I think everybody we had a good crowd over there from the community standpoint. I think we had a great show in there.
Mm-hmm.
Appling has been they've been a proven powerhouse these last several years. And to go over there and to compete with them, was a high. Give us some confidence. We did go over to Clinch County. Probably didn't execute on both sides of the ball like we had hoped, and carried it over from the next week. But our kids played hard.
Mm-hmm.
They never quit, and was in that ball game, till the end. We go from Clinch. We come back home to Telfair. Man, I said last week. I think I said it on camera. If I didn't, it was with a conversation. I don't know if we'll face another team that looked as good as Telfair from a uniform standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are huge up front. A tailback that looked like he's D1 ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of thing. And man, we hit him in the mouth and played I think more physical in most positions than they did. And again, it goes back to that mindset that you just talked about from a defensive standpoint. And then so let's jump way forward to last week. A little different last week. I had a Thursday night game. It's like we was playing on ESPN or something, right? And in Shrewtland, and I admit, I apologize. We struggled early on in the first half with some broadcasting issues. I made the connection there, the Verizon hotspot thing that we use is really reliable. It's just the service they had there was not, and so made some adjustments with tech support and some other things to get us back up for the second half. And most of the game is online now. You can go back and watch on demand. But we get over there. Can we start the game any better than we did? One play, touchdown. You look at the freshmen who really kind of broke out the week before. I remember watching him last year when I was running the jumbo for the middle school games. I said, that kid's special. He's different. There's something about him, And sure enough, he's done well for us these last couple of games, along with the other players. Don't get me wrong, but 7-0, and then it kind of was a defensive game for a little bit. We did go up 14-0, and old Momentum kind of got on their side at the end of the half, and then they scored on the opening kickoff, tightened it back up. But tell us your thought process, and both of you, from an offensive standpoint. There were some ups and downs in that game, from some. So tell me how your thought process through that game, start to finish.
Started out high, and then we got to a point of the game where we were kind of complacent. I think when we went up 14-0, we had a chance to kind of put them away.
Yeah.
And we just didn't do it. So went into halftime, and I kind of challenged those guys to do that. We got to get to a point as a football team when we got a team down 14-0 and we got a chance to go up 21-0. We need to go on and put them away. So, and that just comes with experience. Experience. And like I said, we out there with a lot of young guys. We got a couple of seniors, but some young guys that's learning. But as we went through the third quarter, they got some momentum, and I went to the tent, and we gave up. I went to the tent. I said, guys, we got to calm down. We got to calm down. We got to learn how to embrace these moments, and during those moments, we can't go back and forth or argue with each other. We got to stick together. We got to stick to the game plan. We got to keep our confidence at an all-time high. And I think those guys learned, and they came out and they gave me exactly what I wanted. They gave me a pick. And then they came out and we got a huge stop, huge stop. Yes. So it's just learning experience right now for the defense. But we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. And the Thursday night it wasn't good for us. A different environment,
sure.
Different. I ain't got too much energy. Out there. It's just
and it was
just
hot.
a Thursday. Yeah.
Temperature. We was in our booth. We had a ceiling fan. And we sweated till 10:30, however the game was on. And just standing there. So I can imagine how hot it was on the field and everything that was going on. And that, you think summer condition, but it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. Mentally, it can, and so again, not as an excuse, but it is part of the factor. Those little things factor in mentally on these guys. Now, the running back couldn't do what he did without a little help up front, So tell us a little bit about, from your standpoint and how that game went offensively.
Yeah, going back to when we didn't have the game we wanted against Clinch, and then the next week we had a great game against Telfair. I huddled them up Monday before practice started, and I said, and kind of what Coach said, complacency. I tell them all the time, complacency is our biggest enemy. And I was like, one game is not going to be enough to get us to the playoffs. It's not going to be enough to get us, to the ultimate goal of a state championship. So we got to go out and prepare just like we did last week. We've got to be focused on everything we do, with full speed in everything we do. And we started out the game great. First play touchdown, defense goes and gets us a 3-and-out, and we score in 5 or 6 plays on the second drive. And then after that, it wasn't nothing that we were doing wrong. We were doing our assignments right. We just got a little, our discipline got a little low. And we were, holding and had some bad snaps and bobbled a few snaps. Just hurting ourselves, and killing ourselves. So at halftime, we went and we told them, hey, we're doing everything right. We just got to stop hurting ourselves. We're blocking everything right. Running backs are hitting the right holes. We just got to, calm down. And coming out, they had some momentum. We didn't put them away when we should have. And Trutland, they sensed that, and they fought to get back in the game. So second half, I went over there to the tent. I told them, I said, like I told you guys Monday, complacency is our biggest enemy. So you got to step up. You got to want it more than they want it. And they went and they iced the game there at the end. So.
And I will say this: it was a point in the game where they scored. It was 28-21, and I kind of watched a lot. And I seen Coach Griffis, man, go to his O-line and just challenge him. Like, we got to put this game away. And I told him after the game, I said, hey, man, I like that. So him being a young coach and being able to, do that during those times and those guys just listen, it was real big for me just to see that, And I think as a coaching staff, if we just keep climbing together like that, I'm talking about state championship.
That's right. So. Well, it's about that expectation. We get a young man that comes from a program, Coach Tomlin, one of the best coaches of the last decade, of any classification, who has instilled in you that expectation. And again, just because you're young doesn't mean, and you're still young, Lord have mercy, looking compared to me anyway, of being able to hold these kids accountable, being able to relate to them from an age standpoint, but again, knowing what it takes and giving that example, providing that example. And we've come away with 2 wins these last 2 weeks, and we have an off week this week. Kind of hate it, really and truly, when you get a little overall momentum from week to week, and now we got to wait another extra week and a half, and then on top of that is homecoming. So we got some things going on next week that most of the coaches in the past that I've had on this show, they didn't like homecoming week because of the distractions and a lot of the things that go on. But we'll be excited next Friday night as we host the Lanier County Bulldogs. Bulldogs had one of their, I think they had the best season they ever had last year. Not sure exactly. I thought they were kind of young. They got most of their guys coming back, and we all but beat them on our field. Was it 7-6? Wasn't it something like that last year here? And then they went on and ran the table on a regular season. Went undefeated, I believe it was, during the regular season. So we'll be excited to have them back here and for homecoming. And so what kind of things are we doing? What do we got to prepare for Lanier? What can we expect?
Great football team. Great football team. Got an athletic quarterback who can really get outside the pocket. Got a Division I receiver. Got plenty of Division I offers. Good running back. Good old line. So receivers can run routes, catch it.
You sound like Lou Holtz now. Are you being Lou Holtz, or you being dead serious here? There's no way we can beat these guys. We might as well not even suit it up.
But they're a great football team. Yeah. We're gonna have to bring our A game. We're gonna have to play a little better than we played against Telfair. Yeah. And it's just in my mind, I got a sour taste in my mouth from the past 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. So we got to get back at them. And that's our motto this week. Going out there off week, don't really have a lot of energy because we ain't got a game on Friday, but we got Lanier on the mind. Like what have they done in the past 2 years, and we got to get back at them, and that's been our motivation.
Well, that's good, Coach. Any special prep offensively that you can share?
Just picking back off what Coach said, that defensively their linemen are big and they're also athletic. And you have defensive linemen that are big and athletic, and they can keep you up at night. They got a lot. Their whole defense is athletic. Linebackers, secondary. So just gonna have to come out and play our brand of ball. And Coach Wilson says it all the time. If we play how we're supposed to play and how we want to play, then we can match anybody. So we just have to come out and play our brand of ball. It's gonna be tough. They're a good football team, but just play how we play, and we can get it done.
Well, we're going to have that extra. The stands are going to be full. Whether some of these people are coming in to watch a good football game or not, there's going to be people in the stand. They're going to be cheering for us. I promise you. Because all we ask is, as a fan, me, all these years, is it's never been about wins and losses. That's great. I want to win. Everybody wants to win ball games and stuff. But I just want to see progression, just getting a little better and here and there, and a little bit more discipline, a little more of this, a little more of that. And the wins will take care of themselves. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and then you compete with the teams that maybe you're not supposed to, and then you have those chances to get the big wins that we can anticipate and eventually expect. Just like you said, it's this young team and the mentality, the way you guys coach. It's going to put us in a position to get to where we want to be, and it's unfortunate the Lanier's going to be in the way, and we're going to keep moving forward. But yeah, I'm excited. We kind of had, it's weird because this past Friday we didn't have a football game. I was like, I'm going to do that. That's rare. We have like two Fridays off during the football season, so that'll be the third one. But it was a true long weekend for us. So I know these guys are, and our football team, like he said, these are 14, 15, 16-year-old boys, 17, and it's, you gotta find a way to keep them focused and keep them motivated. because of not just homecoming distractions. There's distractions everywhere for these young men, and it's just important that what this coaching staff is trying to do. So again, we won't have a show before the game next week. We do want you to show up and show out Friday week. It's going to be Friday the 13th. We're going to bring some bad luck, like I said, to the Bulldogs, hopefully, because he's right. We went over a couple years ago to their place, and woulda, coulda, shoulda. Really, best team didn't win on the scoreboard that night, and I truly believe last year the best team didn't win on the scoreboard. But again, those are a learning experience for these guys and some motivation to get it done next week during homecoming. We encourage you to come out. Support the football. We got band. There's a lot of things that make this machine run. All the cheerleading that goes on. I mentioned the band, and the homecoming court will be crowning a king and queen. So a lot of festivities. Homecoming parade will be next Thursday, I believe at 5 p.m. That will start at the elementary school and go through downtown. And I believe following the parade, I saw on social media that the Red Raider Touchdown Club is going to be sponsoring a community-wide pep rally for the football team right there in Go-Wasser Park. So I encourage you to stick around for that. That's something that's unique. A lot of buzz around in our community for this football team, and we're excited. A lot of great support. I want to thank our sponsors, and you'll see those in commercial form throughout this show. But guys, I appreciate you joining me today. And again, I kind of got it mixed up with the O and the D, but it worked out pretty good. Y'all piggybacked off each other very well, so I do appreciate that. And once again, I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show.